So hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode, I guess, of Sing for Alexa Saturday. Super exciting. Thank you all so much for being here. I worked really hard to make this an opportunity for people stuck at home in quarantine, or maybe, who don't really have too many opportunities where they are in general, to be able to get feedback and do a lot of master classes, to be able to have a wonderful platform to share their voice and creativity and love for theater, especially during these kind of crazy times. So if you don't know me already, which I assume you might if you're here, but if not, I'm Alexa Chalnick. I am a musical theater TikToker. I do a little bit of YouTube. I have studied voice and theater from a very young age. My family is very musical, so I pretty much grew up on the bandstand performing and just coming up with things, how would you describe that? Just kind of flying by the seat of my belt, I guess, and learning how to roll with the punches and performing. It started off primarily with singing. I really loved that. At 13, I started professional singing training, and then through that, when I realized I wanted to get more serious, not only as a singer, but as an actress as well, I auditioned and was accepted into a performing arts high school where I got to go and study everything under the sun, really. They kind of wanted to train us to be triple threats, so I got dance instead of gym, which was like my big thing that I got to try to brag about.
Jealous.
I know, it was so fun. We did stage combat and spoon river and acting and voice we had classes in, and just musical theater class and things like that, which was really fun. And while I was doing that, I was still doing pre-college programs outside of school as well. So I did Westminster Choir College's solo vocal artist classical singing intensive. I did Rutgers Musical Theater Academy for high school students. I did Paper Mill Playhouse's conservatory. I did Juilliard's pre-college Saturday school, where I got to study classical voice and go into the city and train. So it's kind of been a nice push and shove of classical singing as well as musical theater performing. And I felt like throughout high school, I really almost got a very conservatory style of training, just doing theater nonstop and constantly, both in school, out, and at community theaters. So in college, I really wanted to focus more on writing my own material and diving a lot more into the musical aspect of everything if I wanted to create my own songs and musicals. So currently I attend Ithaca College, where I'm a BMO major, a Bachelor of Music, with an outside field in theater arts, which I study. So that is just about all about me. So I'm now going to hand it over to JJ, who I know we're all waiting for. He'll tell you a little bit about himself, and then you guys will have the chance to ask him some questions.
Yay, thank you for having me. That is like incredible. All of your training before you even got to college, that's like wild to me. That's incredible.
Thank you.
I grew up doing theater since I was 8 years old. That was my first show. I did Charlotte's Web in Maryland. That's where I lived at the time. And then right after that moved to North Carolina. Here I basically grew up and like cultivated my love for the arts in my local theater companies. We really didn't have a lot of professional opportunities here. There's a ton in North Carolina as a whole, but in my specific city of Wilmington, but there are like 15 community theaters. It's wild. So there were so many like children's theaters and just lots of opportunities. And so I basically was doing shows like year round. And I did a little voice lessons here and there. I did some theater dance workshops and stuff, but I honestly, most of my training was just like performing in shows. So I didn't really have really good, solid training until I went to college. And I kind of just like winged it a little bit, like, because I applied to like 15 schools, like academically, but I honestly just didn't know if I could make it in theater, so I almost didn't go to school for that, and I ended up kind of last minute applying to 3 schools for theater and going to audition, and I ended up at Elon University, which was like one of my dream schools. And so, yeah, I went there for 4 years got a BFA in musical theater. And then right after that, I joined the Broadway cast of the Book of Mormon as a swing, which was awesome. And obviously in the meantime while I was at school, I was working at theaters and stuff during the summer and getting some of those credits. And then most recently I was in the world premiere of a show called Bliss at the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle, which I've been doing like the readings and workshops of, and is hopefully coming to New York when things open back up, but we'll see. And I'm currently quarantined with my family in North Carolina. So that's about it.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. And I know you're just such an inspiration to all of us, not only, in going out and pursuing your dreams, but also just being such a light of positivity and creativity on TikTok. I mean, I know I'm such a big fan, and I'm sure I speak for everyone else on here, that thank you so much for all of that as well. So,
I appreciate that. I didn't even know there was much of a theater community on TikTok, and when I joined, I don't know, I was just blown away, and it's been so much fun. So thank you all for welcoming me.
Of course. So before we get into some questions, I just want to do a little Zoom informational type sequence, I guess. We're going to move on to, we got 5 minutes to ask JJ or I any question you would like. If you've been here before, you don't have to do the digital raised hand, just actually physically wave your hands, and JJ can unmute someone.
Okay. I did get a question on my chat from
Great.
Brandon just about what a swing is, in case people don't know. I think a lot of you probably know if you've seen some of my videos explaining that and stuff. But basically it's just someone in the ensemble, or that covers all of the ensemble tracks or a specific amount. So in Book of Mormon, I covered 7 roles. And so, yeah, it was definitely it's not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of anxiety. But yeah, so you learn all of those different roles and tracks. You learn their voice parts, solos, choreography, quick changes, lines, and then who you partner with and all of where they are on stage the whole time. So that's what a swing is. And there's actually a lot of people that's a really big employment opportunity in theater in general. So definitely a good skill to start working on when you're in school. Even there's sometimes opportunities or understudying also really helps build those skills too.
Awesome. Perfect. And for the rest of the questions, just try to keep it to one question so that we can try to get to as many as we can. I forgot to say that.
I see Julia raised her hand. Oh yeah, okay, I can unmute. Great.
Hi. I was just wondering what the rehearsal process was being a swing, how many more you had to go to than the other cast members?
Right, that's a good question. It's really weird being a replacement in a show because you are you're basically rehearsing on your own. So when I was learning, for example, all of the vocal parts, I was in a room with the associate music director, and just literally he would plunk through the whole show. I would record it with my phone and go home and just practice it. So I never got to practice singing in a chorale or with people really until you do your put-ins and your understudy runs. And then when you're learning the show, choreography wise, you're learning it in a room, just you and the dance captain. And he's like, okay, go to number 7, then go to 2, then go to 10, and you're partner with that person. So you're not it's really hard to tangibly learn that way. But you do have understudy rehearsals, once or twice a month, where you get to rehearse with all the swings and standbys and understudies. And that really helps to have at least some bodies on stage. But the first time I ever got to do the show with costumes and with a full cast and stage and the sets and everything was my debut, which is crazy.
Wow, great question.
Yeah, great question. Mia, I'm gonna unmute you.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. I was just wondering, do either of you have any advice on belting? Because that's something I've been mainly struggling with.
Alexa, I'm gonna pass it to you because you know the female voice probably better.
Yeah, so I was taught that you shouldn't attempt belting until you're able to hit a high C or sing a high C for 3 seconds with constant vibrato and it not feeling like it hurts at all, to have your upper register so strong that you'll hopefully by then, develop the strength in your voice to be able to do that kind of, harsh singing. I think it's a lot easier to kind of build up your upper range and pull down than try to just push up your lower range, which is what I think a lot of people try to do. I am the latter, where, you know, I had a really classical training and background. So
Yeah.
I'm really able to kind of pull from my more classical roots to create, you know, a really good mix, really is what it is. I think that for straight belting, again, I don't really know your voice, but I would definitely encourage you to maybe seek out a vocal teacher or some vocal professional who could give you further work on that. As far as what I can really suggest to you, besides that, it would be maybe to focus a little bit on your mix and developing your upper range and that mix that you can try to pull down, as opposed to trying to just belt higher and higher and higher and have it be maybe like a little screechy or tense on your voice.
I agree with
Okay.
that because I also like I when I was learning to sing kind of, I definitely learned incorrectly and I was really obsessed with like American Idol and all those things. And I would just try to like scream sing basically, and I never had any classical training, and then when I got to college, they were like I couldn't sing classical. Like I literally could not. And they were like we need to just like retrain your voice, and I feel like my belt and mix and all that is so much stronger because of the classical training. So even though it can be sometimes a little, you don't want to do an aria or whatever, but it really is beneficial and better for you in the long
Okay. Thank you.
run. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so it is now 1:15. We're going to get started with our singers. Our first singer that we have is
Yay.
Bella. So if Bella, if you can just give me a wave so I can find you and unmute you. Oh, here we go. Okay, unmuted. You might have to go and unmute yourself as well. There we go.
Alright.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. You look so beautiful.
You too.
Awesome. So feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then whenever you're ready, just give us a slate, which is just the name of the song that you're singing, and then feel free to begin.
Okay, I'm Bella. I'm 16 years old, and I'm gonna be a junior this year. And I'm singing In My Dreams from Anastasia. So yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. As I say, everyone give some nice silent claps. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Bella, that was so, so, so beautiful. I think that you have, so
Thank you.
for all the singers, I'm going to start with a little bit of feedback, mostly for vocal things that I hear, and then we're going to be passing it along to JJ to work on anything he might hear, primarily acting things of the sort. So, beautiful, beautiful job. Oh my gosh, your voice is so wonderfully resonant and forward. It's really, I mean, it's like prime Disney princess. I could see you like
Yeah.
on the stage singing that. Oh my gosh, it's just like a sound that's just so warm and just like melts your heart. It's very, very nice. I really, really enjoyed it. Wonderful job with the vocals. One thing that I did notice a little bit, have you had or if you have had, how much vocal training have you had in the past?
I had voice lessons in 7th, 8th grade, and I stopped, and I just started up again around December.
Wow, wow. Nice, nice. So, have you talked at all about what is it? Jaw tension? I almost said chin tension.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Yeah, yeah. So, for everyone here, your jaw is a very, very powerful muscle, and a lot of people, when they think about, you know, pronouncing things very clearly, we think about the clearer we make it depends on almost like the more that we move our mouths to make sure it's very clear, which can be pretty effective if you're also trying to be clear, you know, up on a stage or especially on Broadway, you know, being really clear to the whole audience. Um, but actually, you know, it's interesting because in a lot of classical training, we learn that the shape of a vowel, what differentiates, you know, e from from ah, isn't really so much your jaw. It's all the space inside your mouth created by your tongue and your soft palate. Your jaw really doesn't have anything to do with it. And of course, this is musical theater, so we singing and talking is very, very much connected. So we're obviously going to be moving our mouths a bit more than if you were to sing like um uh Amarili or something like that, where you really don't need to move your lips at all. But I think that the tension that you've created makes it certain notes go to E, which I know is a really, really great and resonant place for me. I want for everything to be E.
Hmm.
Places like dreams or where it can like feel a little bit clenched. I would love to see you, if you were to sing this again, relax your jaw a little bit and think about not having to work so hard. I feel like you're your mouth was just working like very, very hard, when in reality it really doesn't need to. And that's what, you know, by doing that a lot, it can create a little bit of tension. So I think that in thinking about what's the first line that you sing, even just the like first line of dialogue, the lyrics.
They said I was found on the side of the road.
Okay, so they said I was found on the side of the road. You really don't even need to open your jaw, and if you are, there's a difference between opening your mouth, like hitching your jaw forward a lot of that, and down and back. Have you ever seen like an old person sleep where their jaw almost go like down and back? When we do open our jaws, we want to make sure it's very, very nice and loose and not like gripping at all, because in that gripping it was causing a lot of, even in like Away, you wanted to sing E so badly because your jaw wanted to like stay nice and up. But I think that Away, if you think of it almost more like an Away, almost like an ah, especially in like dreams, in my dreams. I mean, it's very Disney princess, but I think to add a bit more of a core to it, in my dreams, and just opening up that space inside your mouth a little bit could help a lot. But overall, I'm just being very nitpicky because you were very good, and just congrats on your performance. It was very, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of that you said. I love, like, you have such, like, she nailed it with like the Disney princess voice, and the mix is just beautiful. And yeah, congratulations. What do you feel like in this song, what is your dream? And then also who do you feel like you're singing to in this?
I kind of just picture like her in the show, like what she's like thinking like about her past, and just like her family, and she's trying to remember her past and like everything.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel like this song is so beautiful and has such descriptive words, and I really want you to like lean into that, like at the very beginning, like when you're talking about your surroundings and the snow and all these things, like she's painting such a picture for us, and I feel like you can really lean into that. And I feel like this song also has such an arc, because at the beginning she's talking about her past, and then she's talking about these dreams that she has of like a family and like a life that she wants to live. But I feel like in the first chorus you can deliver it in a way that you're like, this is in my dreams, but I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe that could ever happen for me. And then when the twist happens, when she's like, you don't know what it's like in I guess is that the second verse of the bridge, what makes that like switch for her, like for you, like who do you feel like, because she turns from talking about this, you know, dreamy state, and she's like, you don't know what it's like to be alone and all of this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like she's like trying to explain to Dimitri and Glenn, I think that's his name, that like they're like kind of like giving her a hard time, and she's trying to like explain to them like how hard her past has been.
Yeah. So I feel like in that, like the kind of work I did at school in my performance classes was to try and like connect something in our lives or something that that you feel like you want to, that has that shift or that communicative shift. So if you're just try and think of a time, you know, going from that first chorus to that next part, a time of when someone has challenged you or you know, questioned you and your intentions. Like for me, it could easily be connected to like being an actor and like actually wanting to make it in the business or whatever, and follow my dreams. And someone's like, well, you can't, like, you literally can't do that. Like, that's not feasible and stuff. And you're like, nope, like, I'm gonna tell you otherwise, you know, finding a way to connect that to your life. And then really building to that last chorus from that, because it like slows down and she's like, in my dreams. So really lean into that. And I feel like with your voice, just another thing to think about and to work on is to really lean into your breath support and the spin in your voice. Really focus on it all coming from your breath, because I feel like you cut a lot of, not words short, but you take a lot of breaths in between or separate phrases that I think you have the breath in you to continue and spin it to finish the phrase before going to the next one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you do it again maybe and try and like implement even one or two of those things. I know that was like a lot to throw at you. Alexa, do we have time for that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Or maybe so if we want to focus on that change, can we maybe go to I forget, like I
Like
don't
from
know.
the first chorus to
bridge.
that bridge.
Yeah,
So
that's
like you don't know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
that change happens to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find.
Oh my gosh, chills. Literally,
Yes, me too. Goosies.
that was, oh my gosh, the way that you were able to open up and relax for all those bigger, longer, prolonged notes, and the end one. All my family's sitting around me. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. We heard the difference. I hope you were able to feel the difference and
Yeah, I was.
a little bit on some of those notes, what it brings out. It was phenomenal. It was really amazing to watch.
I totally agree. And I felt like that in intensity from you and just like more of a meaning in what you were saying and also like that shift to like the hope at the end. So continue to just lean into that and like push into that because you have so much. I feel like you like can just continue to unlock these things and open up even more and communicate truly through singing. It's beautiful.
My aunt's
you so
crying in the corner.
Aww.
Beautiful.
That was sweet.
Oh, you did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Do you have any accounts that you would like to
Yeah.
shout out? Let us know where we can all hear your beautiful voice again.
My TikTok is underscore Bella with 2 A's, Grace underscore. That's my TikTok.
Thank
But
you
yeah.
so much, Bella, for being here, sharing your beautiful voice with us. Keep slaying the game. Alrighty, so next up we have singer number 2, Catherine. If you could give me a wave, I'll unmute you. Oh, here we go. Woo. Okay, yeah, you might have to go and unmute yourself too. There we go. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm knocking everything down.
You're completely fine. So, feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then whenever you're ready, give us a slate. Just tell us what you're singing, and begin.
My name is Catherine Gregory. I am 19 years old. I am a rising sophomore at Nazareth College. I know I look like I'm 16, but I promise I'm 19. I will be singing I Hate the Bus from Caroline or Change.
Beautiful. Whenever you're ready.
It starts off a cappella.
Beautiful job, Catherine. Oh my gosh, I think that's a great song for you. Can you tell me, um, um, one thing vocally that you're really proud of that you think you did very well, and one thing that in the song you'd like to work on, or yeah, I guess just work on or maybe improve upon.
Um, I think I'm proud of like the mixing belty-ish type in the bridge, but I think my transition like in my own telephone, like I stress out about that part and I think about it too much, so it doesn't happen. But yeah, that part.
I wrote down trust yourself, because I could see you. You have such a beautiful voice, and you do it throughout the song when you're not thinking about it. And then there are certain moments when I can see you inside your head really concentrating, and those are the moments that are a little not as clear vocally or not as fully intentioned, because those are the places when you tend to like back away a little bit, when in contrast, those are the places where we need for you to give a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's just through the Zoom. That's only the kind of like meh part about doing masterclasses via Zoom, is it's not really the same from hearing you in person. In certain places of your mix, I hear a little bit of breathiness, and I'm not quite sure if that's only through Zoom, but for your mix, it's really lovely. I think that it can be placed a little bit more forward, because in just relying on the breath itself to carry it isn't as it just won't have the same power behind it as placing it in the area that we call the mask, You
Yeah.
probably, as singers, we talk all about the mask and forward resonance and putting it very much here. I think that experimenting in all the places in that mixy area that require onsets of vowels or even an H where it starts with a breath, it can be really, really tricky to start with vowels. I would encourage you to or actually, can you even just speak the text a little bit in one of those areas that you think it gets into that place where you're kind of unsure where to place things or it's a little wishy-washy?
The part where it's a TV and my own telephone. I live in my house by myself, all alone.
Okay, yeah. So can you say it again? I'm gonna write down words. I'm too forgetful.
A TV and my own telephone, and I live in my house by myself, all alone.
All alone. Okay. So a TV, own telephone. Can you try to sing that? And it could be a cappella, but instead of just starting on a TV, own telephone, I all alone, instead of doing the vowels, can you instead, or you know what, don't even do vowels at all. Can you sing whatever that phrase is a cappella just on me, me, just sing it on me, me.
Me 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 me.
Yeah. At the beginning, there was still a little bit of like unsureness I was sensing, but as it went on, any exercise you can do, and what we do in vocal training, or if you are working on bringing this very, oh wait, I gotta check the time. Sorry, I could talk for so long. To bring things very forward, we use consonants like and anything that can get the area up here kind of tingling and very very forward are things that we use to help with that kind of area that we're unsure about. But I think that you're doing a really, really great job working through that. And I encourage you to trust yourself even more and not be worried about, oh my gosh, well, I might crack or it might sound airy or blah, blah, blah. Just trust yourself with breath because you can do it, which you proved to yourself because you did it at places throughout the song. It's just a matter of those areas that you're feeling unsure about being a bit more confident with it. And to get things a bit more placed forward, you can do those exercises of singing it on M's or N's. Okay. I will pass it over to JJ.
No, that's super helpful. I totally agree. And I think trusting yourself is like such an important part about it and like leaning into it really. This song is awesome and I had never heard it until last night. Actually, I looked it up when I saw that you were singing it and looked up the show to like do my research on it. And like, what does this song particularly mean to you? Because like a lyric that really impacted me, I'm gonna butcher the lyric because I don't remember exactly the words, but it's her saying at the end, like, you'll wait for forever unless you say what you are waiting for, like, you know what you wait for. Like, what is that thing that you feel like you're waiting for or that you can really tap into?
Um, I think the show does a great job of like putting it in my perspective as well, about like how like she's a black maid and she's the daughter of a black maid, so she's like wants to be able to talk about things that are important to her, but people are putting her down. And so I think that's a really good thing to talk about because people do that to me. But I like that part of her that she wants to go out and do things on her own, even though people say that she can't.
I love that. Yeah. Who do you feel like, do you feel like you have a specific person or something that you feel like you want to communicate this specific message to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want you to really this time, like really tap into that and allow yourself to, like Alexa said, trust yourself vocally, but also just trust yourself to be like, I need you to hear me and listen to what I'm saying and imagine that person and speaking directly to them. And one other thing, I feel like there definitely is a change in an arc in the song because at the beginning it's really sad and she's like, I hate this. I hate like what I'm experiencing in my life. And then it goes to all her dreams. At the end, is there like a weird chord change or something at the end? What is the ending?
Um, it like builds like it's that I take everything the nothing I own, that big part. It's like live in my house and I'm gonna pack up nothing that I own because I own nothing that's my own. I'm gonna go out on my own. That part.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel like really lean into that like change kind of the building and being like the realization like maybe if you're speaking to that person, it's you being like, listen to me, hear me, and then like you're not listening, or like I didn't get through to you yet, or like I feel like unfortunately this song in the arc of it is kind of a losing journey at the end of this specific song in the show. It sounds like a realization of like, so maybe, I don't know, maybe play with that and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you want to try again, maybe from somewhere in the middle-ish to the end?
Or we even have time. We have time to do the whole
The
thing.
whole thing, right?
It's a short song, so
Yeah, okay, good. Awesome.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see you trust yourself and don't worry about telling the story. Be in the story. Be the person there right now in that moment. Your feet not in the kitchen where you are, but actually at that bus stop waiting for the bus.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That was amazing.
That was so powerful and so impactful. Oh my gosh, that was so beautifully well done.
thank you.
I'm like speechless.
That time.
Yourself, you were in it. You were so clear. I think that was the biggest thing. You were so clear in everything you were thinking and feeling, and being able to show us all that and invite us in to feel these emotions and go on this journey with you. It was so amazing to watch, so impactful. And actually, a note that I had written down that I forgot to say was that I love how you as an actress don't feel like you need to push, like, there's like this little belt stuff and at the end that happens, but even then you're so beautifully poised and presented in this. It's so wonderful, and I love how you don't feel like you have to like yell or scream to have power, that you're able to keep this beautiful voice and richness that brings upon this wonderful like dignity that you have throughout the piece that really is just amazing to watch. Lovely job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really felt the arc and the journey and like your specificity as well. Like it really, like Alexa said, like it painted a picture for us and it was so clear. And I really, like I heard the lyrics the first time, but I really heard them the second time, the way you delivered it, specifically the ending, and that just like, that just like sat on my chest for a second, like those lyrics at the end and the chord change, I just like, it was so beautiful.
I was listening for the chord change because I didn't even hear that before. I must have been like writing a note or something. But what actually happens at the end is we're expecting for the song to end on do, to go back to,
Right.
No, but what it actually is, it's right. It's no, I thought it was a deceptive cadence, which is minor. So instead of going back to the major happy ending, it ends on it's called a deceptive cadence, a minor chord, which causes it to almost be like, okay, we think it's going to end, but it doesn't. It goes like a different direction that pushes the story in like a new different way. It's a really interesting choice that I didn't catch before, but wow, this is like, I love this song. I never heard it before. This is just beautifully well done.
Thank you.
Great job.
Let us know, Catherine. Where can we hear your beautiful voice again?
My Instagram is catherine.j.g.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Catherine.
Alrighty, take care. So, our last but not least singer, we have Allison. Just give me a wave. Oh, here we go. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you guys? Oh, I am doing just great. It's very cold in here, so I had to put on a jacket. But yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna test the sound real quick. If you don't,
yeah, no problem.
I think that's good. Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Allison. I'm a DC and Maryland-based performer. I'm an incoming junior at Catholic University. I'm a musical theater major. And this is Climbing Uphill from the Last 5 Years. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh my gosh, that was so fun to watch. My mom, I don't know if she's ever heard this song before. She's right next to me like, what is this? She was like, I love this. She's so funny. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so I could tell you've had a pretty good amount of vocal training. Everything sounds really, really good and healthy. The only thing that I hear is a little bit of shallow breath and breathing, as in I can hear each intake of breath that you can, which lets me know that things are a bit closed up in the back. And I think that, well, all these things that I'm going to talk about are a little bit connected. That could also be a bit just, the closure could just be, you know, not being as open, which can also be a result as that the posture was, and it might have been, again, I can't really tell over Zoom, but it seemed a little bit forwardly hitched as opposed to being nice and up and back, which I think will help with that as well as the grounding. There's a lot of frantic energy in here, which I think you're able to channel really, really well. I did wish, though, for a couple places where you're really like, almost like parking and barking it, like those really big places, I felt like are the times to kind of channel that energy and maybe not move around as much. That might also be a result of, you know, not, I mean, everything's connected. You know, we want to, for the most part, be grounded, you know, posture, nice open breathing. So I think that, you know, of course it's okay for, you know, it's a very talkative, it's a conversation type of song. So obviously we're not going to be prima donnas or anything, but I think that, as far as the breath goes, especially in those areas where you need, grant me grace and all those things, the big moments, I think that you would really highly benefit just doing a little bit of like the park and bark, of kind of just standing there, make sure you're really getting all the air that you need for those notes. Other than that, vocally, I thought it was really, really great. I love this song for you. I think you really did it justice. It was really nice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree, Allison. You have like such a powerful voice. And I think this is an incredible song for you too. Like this is really an awesome song. And you're really funny. Like this is a very like, you just tapped into all of the right feelings of it. I really want you to like embrace, like I'd love to hear you do it again. And I want you to, because she's going back and forth from her inner monologue to being at an audition, for someone who's seeing or hearing this song for the first time, I think it could be slightly confusing when she goes back and forth. So I know this is like really corny, but I think it might help you physicalize it a bit. Do you have like a bag in your room or something, like a tote or something like that?
I have a water bottle.
Okay, sure. Okay, a water bottle. When you are doing the things, walking back and forth, and you're doing your inner monologue, and you're like motivated, walking like, you know, trudging through the streets of New York or from one audition to the next, I want you to hold that water bottle and then put it down. And when you're doing the audition, you're in a different physicalization. And I think, like Alexa was saying, like channeling that frantic energy and then like making distinct choices when you switch into the other, you know, when you're like in an audition and like that awkward, like, hi, you know what I mean? And that second audition, that like train of thought where it's just like, da 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 da, and she's like, don't look at these shoes, don't look at my resume, don't da 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 da. It's so funny. And I feel like you could even play around with the idea of it being truly just like a train of thought. Like you've never, try and put yourself in the mindset that you've never said that, you know, saying those words before, and just kind of like see what happens and just like play them all like not monotone, but just kind of like literally rambling like da 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 da. And I don't know, play with that and see what that does. I also wanted to ask, like, obviously this song is so easy to relate to as an actor. We all can relate, girl. What is this specifically? Is there like a specific instance or experience that this relates to you? And like, what is, when you're singing about like Jamie, for example, like who is that? Is that something specific to you as well?
Well, I definitely, I guess when I like imagine it, I think of like when I was in high school and I just kept going to all these auditions and I was never getting anything and I was so frustrated and I just like wanted to give up, and then I would like go home to my mom and I'd be like, this sucks. Like I don't want to be an actor anymore. And like that's kind of how I like envisioned it in my head, I guess.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like I feel like the important thing in this song too is that clearly like she's the character is recognizing all of these like frustrating things or like all of these things that she's not achieving, or like bombing an audition and that experience where you know you're bombing and all of that. But like there's something that keeps her going. Like, do you have something tangible that like kept you going and being like, no, I got this, I can do this?
I think just like knowing, just like my passion for it, and like knowing that it's something that I want to do, and just because other people may not see it in me, like I need to see it in myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I'd love to see it again too. And I think that building off of what we were talking about with when you're in the audition room, because I know my mom, like when you were talking about how it was a little confusing, she was tapping me. She was like, yeah, no, make sure to, I think that, so you are a phenomenal performer, very, very funny. And you're quick at picking up, physical characteristic cues that are really, really funny. So I would love to see you. I think that the biggest thing is that, when you're talking to Jamie, you have a very, lenient, is that the word? A very like natural, normal characteristic about you, a little frantic. So then when you were in the audition room doing the same thing, it was a little confusing. I think that playing up of when you were being in the audition room and being a little, how there were those moments where you're smiling and things like that, instead of being as gestural to everyone and big, which you probably wouldn't be in an audition, making it more of like an inner monologue, whereas on the outside, you're still very performative. I don't know what that looks like in your own mind, but I think you could play around with the comedy of being in a space where what you're doing physically completely counteracts everything that's going on in here. Maybe playing around with that a little bit, just anything to make it so that we still are aware that you're in that audition room, to like build that space around you. What would you do? Would you actually do that if you were in the audition room? Yeah, I would love to see, I don't know the whole thing, maybe from like before the second audition when she's talking to Jamie again.
Okay. Okay. I'll use the water bottle this time. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so when you do play Kathy, please, I want front to that.
Same.
They're gonna come front row. I mean, I'll let JJ.
Oh, it was just awesome. And like there's something about that water bottle. Like, I'm glad you did that, because it literally physically showed you walking to an audition, putting it down, auditioning, picking it up, and walking, away defeated. And yeah, there was just something so powerful. Like, Alexa's suggestion was great about the like your internal monologue, but you're still like presenting as if you're like in an audition, and you're like it really read well.
That was really helpful. That was a really good idea.
Yay! I'm so glad. Well, thank you to taking everything and running with it, because it was really, really just great, and you have great natural instincts too. Which
thank you.
Yeah. So please let us know where we can all hear your beautiful voice again, or any accounts you'd like to shout out.
My TikTok is Allison_Fitz, and my Instagram is Allison_Fitzgerald_.
Awesome. Oh, and I have a lot of people chatting saying, what song was it? It was Climbing Uphill from the Last 5 Years.
Which is a show, those songs are great standalone songs. Like, this is a perfect song to do at like any sort of concert, cabaret. Like, actually all the songs that were performed today are great standalone ones, but Last 5 Years has a lot of great ones.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you.
And those were all of our singers. Can we have a nice like silent clap for all of them? You all did so amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And now I would like for everyone to give another huge waving round of applause for JJ here for being our Broadway guest of this week and using his time to come on here and just be such a ray of light and positivity for everyone, and sharing his time to help us in this masterclass. It really means the world. JJ, please let us know all your socials. Where can we find you again? What's happening? What's coming up?
Yeah, first off, I want to say thank you because this is, I think, my first time ever giving, like, I'm usually a dance coach, and so this is my first time ever giving, like, singer and actor feedback. So thank you for having this experience with me as well. And yeah, you can find me at JJ Niemann on TikTok and Instagram, and yeah, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for having me, Alexa. This was, like, such an awesome thing, and I'm so glad you're providing opportunities for people to get to do what they love from home.
Oh my gosh, it is my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so JJ, you don't have to stay for this next part. You're more than welcome to if you'd like. We're going to be doing a musical theater Kahoot. Yay! So for those of you who have been on Sing for Alexa Saturdays before, you know that we end with a musical theater Kahoot because these Zooms are actually very expensive. They're $15 a month just so that I could have more than a 40-minute Zoom. And then it's an extra $60 so that I could have more than 100 people on a Zoom. So that's $75 a month that I pay to keep these Zooms running. But it's with the help of a lot of wonderful other people from TikTok who really appreciate these masterclasses and want to help keep it going. My Venmo is just Alexa-Chalnick. My PayPal, I believe, is Alexa-Chalnick if you wanted to donate as well. If you donate more than $20, you and me have a private video chat. But there are certain people who donated $20 and said to just pass along the video chat to someone who maybe can't afford it. Those people are Emma, if you see her waving, Emma Payton, she donated. Matt donated, Brandon donated, Miranda donated. So if you see them, I don't know if they're here or not, but if they're waving, just be sure to thank those people for donating. So the way that we figure out who's going to get these free video chats is we do a really fun musical theater Kahoot. If you don't know what Kahoot is, it's an app that you're going to want to download. I'm going to pull up on my screen a code that you're then going to type into the app that will bring you into this really, really fun trivia game for musical theater. It's not a trivia about who knows me the most. It's strictly musical theater. It starts off easy. It gets harder and harder. So, I'm going to pull up the Kahoots. Okay, exit out. Okay, and we're back. We're back. Okay. Well, that just about concludes this week's Sing for Alexa Saturday. I hope that everyone had a really, really fun time. I'm going to take some pictures. And actually, since we have 10 minutes left, I can do some more questions. So first, we're going to do some pictures. Everyone. Okay, here. I want to make it so we don't see my brother sitting in the background. Okay, ready? On the count of 3, everyone's going to smile. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to go to the next page because we have people on the next page too. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to smile. And 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, now everyone's putting on their videos. Okay, wait. Okay, if you want to be in the picture, turn on your video. Turn on your video. Okay. Okay, yeah, we may have to start this over. Okay, ready? I'm just going to take a ton of pictures. 3, 2, 1. Everyone looks so beautiful. We're going on to the next page. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. I think that did it. I think we're good. Okay. So fun. Dang. I hope that someone was able to like snap a picture with JJ on here because of course I completely forgot to do that. I remembered for David Jeffrey though. I was like, no one's doing anything. I'm getting my picture. It's all right. Some other time. So we have 9 minutes left. If you guys have a question, just one question per person so I could try to get to as many as possible. If you do, just kind of give a wave here because I don't really look at the like digital hands raised. Okay, let's do Jasmine. Ooh, wait, I want to know what your wall says. It looks so pretty.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
I'm actually like a really big fan of yours on TikTok.
Well, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. By the way, the wall says you may only be a person in this world, but to someone you're the world.
Oh, isn't that like Dr. Seuss? I think for like Dr. Seuss, there's like a quote that's really similar. It's like to the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world. Something like that.
I don't know. I just ordered the entire thing online.
I love it.
And, yeah, so my question is, I'm starting high school next month, and I've known this drama teacher my entire life. I've known who he is, and he intimidates me a lot. and I wanted to know, he intimidates me a lot, and I'm kind of nervous about this because it's my first year in high school and I want to make a good impression. But do you have any tips for someone that's starting to get into musical theater and it's starting high school and stuff?
I would say, so my advice would be probably the same that I got, which is that before high school, doing theater should just be fun. Don't take it too seriously. You don't have to go and do like crazy pre-college program things if you don't want. Just have fun with your friends, go to Domino's Pizza after the show and just party, and it should be all about fun. Once you hit high school, if you really want to be pursuing theater, you're not just doing theater like for fun anymore. Everything should be research. Maybe instead of getting the lead where you just have to, all the dogs just came into my room, by the way, which is why everything was getting knocked around. This is my dog Lila now. But in hello. For high school is when instead of getting the lead where you just have to go on stage and sing a song, maybe you instead of getting Catherine in Newsies, now maybe your goal is, you know what, I really want to work on my dancing. I should try to be a newsie instead. Try to focus on the things. Oh yeah, because I had food that she was going for. Nice try, puppy. But now theater should be, if you really want to pursue it, think about doing theater. It still should be fun, but now it's more of like trying to get the most out of it and training. Now it's like your formal training really begins. So, don't look at this director as someone who's like intimidating or anything like that. Think about him as someone that you can learn so much from. He's a teacher. Remember, he's still he's a teacher first and foremost. He's there to teach you and help you grow your craft and help you to learn. So remember that, and just try to get the most out of everything. Theater should still be fun, but if you want to pursue it professionally now, I think now is the time to really think about, okay, what am I, instead of just pushing the things I'm good at, working on the things that maybe you could, use a little bit more help on. That would be my advice.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much. Have a great
Nice meeting you.
Okay. Who else do we got? Just give a wave. Okay. We have Jess Burke. Hi.
Hi. I just want some advice. So I live in a very small place in the UK where the nearest theatre is like 2-hour drive away. So I just want some advice. So I'm trying to get into musical theatre. I'm 16, and so I'm just wondering what tips I can have to try and get into it without having to travel 2 hours to the nearest theatre.
Oh, I completely understand that. Well, you should give yourself a pat on the back right now, because I think just being on this Zoom is you reaching out and finding opportunities past just where you live. And I think that the internet is a really great source for that. I think that as far as information goes, I wouldn't really suggest the internet, but as far as reaching out to other people and making connections, it's really, really great for doing that. TikTok really helped me build my platform. So just, the biggest hurdle in getting anything out there, at least for me, is that, I never really had much of an online presence before TikTok, just because to post something online of me singing or performing required me watching it first, of course, because I'm going to watch it before I post it. And it was just never good enough. It was always like, no, I didn't like how I did that. I know I could do that better. So I'll wait until I perform the song again, and then I'll change that thing, and then I'll post it. I think it's just knowing that nothing's ever going to be perfect. And if you're waiting until it is, you're just going to be waiting for forever for a day that's never going to come. So I think that starting right now and just, just make it like a small goal at first, even if it's just once a week, I'm going to sit myself down, put on a karaoke track, and make a video of me, of me, singing some song, something like that. My aunt wrote, create your own. If you have advice, dude, my aunt is so good at giving advice. Do you want to talk to people? She's like, I don't want them to see me, but they can hear you.
Okay. Create your own. You'd be amazed. It's easy to think when you're in your own community that nobody else is interested. But how do you know there's not 20 people that are thinking exactly like you? So you start your own group. You put up flyers, posters, things in the supermarket and anywhere, and maybe start a theater group of your own.
Basement Productions.
Right, basement productions, and then you start. You'd be amazed at how many people you find were feeling exactly like you, and now they're grateful that you got it started.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. That was great. Yeah, so I hope that helps, Jess.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, thank you. Okay, let's get another question. Let's do Sir. Oh, I hope I'm not saying it wrong. Surya. Hi.
Yeah, that's fine.
I remember you because I've watched your audition videos for Sing for Alexa Saturday, and you've written original material too. That is very good. So
Thanks. I'm a huge fan of yours on TikTok. So
thank you.
so I mean, my question's kind of cliche, but I'd love to get some advice from you. So for auditions, like how do you, I guess, do an audition? I guess how do you do an audition so that the directing team knows that you're good for the part or something? Like how do you play to your strengths to I don't know if I explained that well. I guess how do you do an audition well?
So everyone just like whispered different things to me at the same time. For me, my best audition happens when I'm not focusing on how everyone else is seeing me, but how I see me. There's really nothing that I can change about myself. I can curl or straighten my hair, but like things like my nose or my facial features, 20 girls can stand in a line, sing the same song, and maybe the director just in writing the character just has a certain feel for how they want that character to be. And a lot of the times it really doesn't have anything to do with talent. It's just you putting yourself out there. Everyone's talented. It's just you fitting the mold of what the director feels like they want. Yeah, exactly. Their vision for the character. So as soon as I got over the hurdle that this audition isn't, whether I'm good or not, or whether, I'm going to beat out all these other, make it solely a learning experience for you. This isn't about, you fitting. It's not about you trying to mold yourself to fit their mold. It's about you doing your best so that, maybe by some sort of chance, what you're putting out there is what they need. Because that was my biggest advice that I got for college too. When I was working with some people, they were saying that a lot of people tour these colleges and try to kind of write down, okay, well they like more classical things here, and they like more belt things here, and here they like more of this vision, and here they like that vision. So I'll sing these songs for this college and these songs for this college, and they're trying to tailor who they are to what they think other people want, instead of actually thinking, well, what do I want? What do I want to perform? Because, when you go out into the world, your originality is your strongest, and I truly believe this, it's your strongest asset. It's really what makes you you. And so really finding and building that up, making it, not what other people want, but what you can bring to the table. For auditioning, I always try to make it a learning experience. And no matter what happens, be proud of myself that I put myself out there in the first place. Think of it as like literal training. The more that you audition, the less you get nervous. Even if you don't get the part, well, hey, check mark, that's one audition down before.
Yeah, and you can learn other things from maybe not getting the part you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, if you really want the part, there are little things you can, wear like a scrunchie if you're going for one of the Heathers or something like that. Don't ever wear the full costume. But, little things if you want. But really, it's more of, what?
I don't want to be seen.
My mom also doesn't want to be seen and wants to say something. Feel free.
Okay. It's also about the material you pick. Research what it is you're auditioning
Oh,
for.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
True.
It's about the material that you pick is going to be whether or not you want to know what the character is that you're auditioning for, and pick something that resembles that. It's still you, but at least they then say, oh, I could see him doing that.
True. I don't know why I jumped to originality and not that, but yes. The actual song that you sing for the audition is so important. It shows you understand what the song is about. You can express certain vocal qualities that might pertain to that show. Show them you could be the character without actually singing the song that the character sings, if that makes sense. Yes. Okay. It's over 2:30. So I think that is our last question. But thank you all so much to everyone who came and supported and learned a lot. I really hope that you did. I've been trying to figure out, because it turns out that these Zooms are like quite a lot of storage to be downloading. So I'm trying to like download bits and parts and edit it so that I could put it out there. So hopefully I'll be able to put on YouTube this one as well as some of the other past ones. They are like pretty big files though, so I'm trying to figure out like what my computer can handle and what they can't. If you would like private lessons, I do offer them, not only for just, you know, acting through song, but, you know, some like beginner voice training and things like that. Just things that I've learned that I can pass along to anyone else. I do piano or songwriting or even just a meet and greet. It's really great. The best way of contacting me, my email is alexachalnik@gmail.com. I try to get around to all my DM messages on Instagram. You could do it that way. I do have a little contact form also up on my website, which is just a part of my link tree. You click my link tree, the first thing there is schedule a lesson. I should have merch coming out soon. Maybe hopefully I'll be doing another giveaway soon. I hope to be doing a lot more videos. Hopefully TikTok doesn't get banned, and we'll have another Sing for Alexis Saturday next week, which I really, really hope about. I also just want to say how much I thank all you guys, because I was really nervous that me not being able to go live on TikTok this week would really impact the amount of people that were able to join and see it. So I was really, really nervous at first, and then seeing how we actually got over 100 people on this at one point is insane. And I just want to thank all of you so much for taking advantage of this platform that I'm trying really, really hard to get out there. But thank you for, you know, if you referred this to a friend or shared it around your own community, I really appreciate it. Okay, I think that's enough talking from me for now. If you have any more questions, please feel free to reach out, contact me. Thank you all again, and I'll sing my little goodbye song, I guess. Do you want to like harmonize? No. Okay. I'm sorry to let you know I really don't mean to let I forgot. Yeah, you threw me.
All right, I'll harmonize.
Okay. I'm sorry to let you know I really have got to go. Drink water, so you're not sick. I love you. Love Alexa Chalnik. Yay! I love you guys so, so, so much. Tune in next Saturday where we will hopefully be having another Broadway guest if TikTok doesn't shut down. Okay. And yeah, okay, there's a lawnmower outside. Thank you all again so much. See, I never want to end these. I love seeing all your beautiful faces. Bye. Just stay safe, stay strong, and stay singing. Mwah! Bye, guys.